Commander Zektar of the Galactic Coalition stared at the human vessel through the view screen, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he tried to process what he was witnessing. The human ship Defiant hung motionless in space, somehow having survived. The most devastating orbital bombardment in recorded galactic history. What should have been debris floating in the void was instead transmitting surrender terms to the entire Cathari invasion fleet. "Explain this to me again." Zektar clicked to his intelligence officer, Lieutenant Vixna. The pale blue alien consulted her datapad, her tentacles writhing in what their species considered deep confusion. "According to our intercepted communications, the humans attribute their victory to something they call Mr. Whiskers." "Mr. Whiskers," Zektar repeated slowly, his translator struggling with the human phonetics. "Yes, sir. Our xenobiological scans indicate it's a small Earth predator, approximately 4 kilograms, covered in fur, with retractable claws and enhanced night vision capabilities." Zektar's primary arms crossed, while his secondary arms gestured dismissively. "A predator that small couldn't damage our hull plating. What weapon systems does it possess?" "None that we can detect, sir. It appears to spend most of its time sleeping, consuming processed nutrition pellets, and engaging in what humans term purring." 3 days earlier, the situation had been markedly different. The Cathari Empire's most feared battle fleet had cornered the human research vessel in the contested Vega 7 system. The Defiant was a modest craft, barely 300 meters long with a crew of 42 humans, and inexplicably, one small feline creature that served no apparent military function. Captain Sarah Chen had tried to explain Mr. Whiskers to the Coalition observers who'd joined their mission. "He's for morale," she'd said simply, scratching behind the orange tabby's ears as he purred contentedly in her lap during their final briefing. "Morale?" Ambassador Quintel had asked, his crystalline features shifting to display confusion. In Quintel's species, morale was maintained through precise pheromone regulation and mathematical proof of victory probability. "Emotional support," Dr. James Rodriguez had added helpfully. "Humans form psychological bonds with companion animals. It reduces stress hormones and promotes well-being." The Coalition observers had exchanged glances that roughly translated to "humans are bizarre" in 17 different languages. When the Cathari fleet had arrived, 27 dreadnoughts bristling with quantum torpedoes and plasma cannons, the human captain had done something unprecedented. Instead of opening fire or attempting to flee, she'd activated the ship's general communication system. "Mr. Whiskers," she'd said calmly, "we need your help." The cat had opened one green eye, considered the request with the gravity that only cats can muster, then hopped down from his perch near the navigation console and padded toward the ship's central core. What happened next defied every law of physics the Coalition thought they understood. Mr. Whiskers had somehow, and the sensor readings still made no sense, synchronized his purring frequency with the ship's quantum resonance chamber. The resulting harmonic cascade had created a field that made the Defiant simultaneously exist in multiple dimensional phases. The Cathari had fired everything they had. Quantum torpedoes passed through empty space. Plasma beams struck shadows. Gravitational. Mines found nothing to collapse. For 6 hours, the most advanced military technology in the galaxy had been rendered useless by a cat who occasionally paused his reality-bending purr to clean his paws. But that wasn't the end of it. Engineer Lisa Park had noticed something during the bombardment. "Captain!" she'd called out, excitement barely contained in her voice. "Mr. Whiskers isn't just phasing us. He's reflecting their weapons' quantum signatures back at them." Indeed, every missed shot had somehow created a feedback loop through the fleet's targeting systems. One by one, the Cathari ships began experiencing cascade failures as their own weapons turned against them. Not through any human action, the Defiant never fired a single shot, but through some impossible feline manipulation of quantum mechanics. Within 12 hours, the entire invasion fleet was either disabled or retreating, their crews too rattled by the inexplicable physics violations to continue the assault. Now, back in the present, Commander Zektar was trying to write his report to Coalition Command, knowing they'd never believe him. "Sir," his communications officer announced, "we're receiving a message from the human vessel." Captain Chen's face appeared on the screen, with Mr. Whiskers draped across her shoulders, like a furry orange scarf. "Commander Zektar, we're prepared to discuss terms for the Cathari withdrawal from Coalition space." "Captain Chen," Zektar began carefully, "I must ask, how did you know your companion could do this?" Sarah Chen smiled and scratched Mr. Whiskers under the chin, eliciting a purr that somehow seemed to make the view screen shimmer slightly. "We didn't. But humans have learned something over the millennia. When you're facing impossible odds, trust your cat. They always land on their feet." Mr. Whiskers yawned, showing absolutely no interest in having just redefined galactic warfare. He had, after all, a very important nap to return to. In his eventual report, Commander Zektar would write, "Human unpredictability factor remains incalculable. Recommend immediate peace negotiations and detailed study of Earth feline species. Also recommend increased mental health support for Cathari fleet. Many crew members are reportedly afraid of small furry objects." The war was over. The humans had won with purrs, not plasma. And somewhere in the depths of space, Mr. Whiskers continued his nap, completely unaware that he'd just become the most feared weapon in the galaxy.